So, in this old poem called Beowulf, there's a guy named Beowulf. Now, Beowulf, the guy, not the book, poem, story, is this really super strong, cool, funny, nice, great guy. And all the girls, like 4.5% of the guys, want to bear his child. He's like Odysseus or Hercules, but older and more British. Anyway, in the text, he is doubted by some loser named Unferth. So Beowulf verbally smacks him into the next century with his accomplishments. Here, the text reads, "We took our swords to ward off the whales and swam into the freezing waves. For 5 days and nights we stayed together in the icy water until a furious north wind swept us apart in the dark night. Breca was washed ashore, but I stayed at sea. For the anger of the water beasts had been roused, and I had plenty to do. They attacked me, meaning to make a feast of me. One even dragged me to the bottom. But my mail shirt protected me, and my sword hacked at them hard. 9 monsters I killed that night. Their bodies lay on the shore when the morning came. They would no longer attack ships as they crossed the Swan's riding place. As for you, Unferth, I haven't heard any tales of you offering to fight Grendel. The monster knows he has nothing to fear from you." Unferth could make no reply. So that's a weird flex, huh? Hey, I was wondering, could he have actually done that? Anyway, enough joking around. So obviously this champ went pretty far, and scholars can't really decide how far he went, so we just have to go off of time, which I guess is still pretty impressive. So the world record for the longest distance swam in open water is held by him. He swam 225 kilometers over the course of about 50 hours. And that's pretty neat. Something odd about him, though, is his physique. Veljico Roganus was, at the time of his record, he was 65 years old and obese. However, this makes him much more buoyant, so he could just kind of float there and move his limbs if he felt like it, instead of having to put forth some petty effort to stay afloat. He's like David Hasselhoff, but like a little bit slower. So he's like a rowboat compared to, I don't know, a speedboat. Cut that. Now, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that Beowulf is neither 65 or obese when he swam. So it's kind of difficult comparing to Mr. Water Swim here. Another athlete I found, though, is Ross Edgley. And holy heck, is he an athlete. This guy is probably the closest thing to Beowulf's reincarnation. If not, he is his reincarnation. He first gained fame when he pulled a Mini Cooper the distance of a marathon for charity. Now, that's 26.2 miles. That is longer than my entire commute during the day. So recently he's been swimming a lot. He has a 4-piece series with Red Bull where he swam roughly 100 kilometers over the course of 2 days, pulling a 100-pound log. I found that it's common for long-distance swimmers to break, but Beowulf didn't break. He couldn't. People can't even stay awake for that long. So that feat obviously isn't achievable for a human, but something that is achievable is rowing. Some scholars think that the word swimming is actually mistranslated from the Old English word for rowing, so this entire segment could have been about rowing, but I don't buy into that, not one bit. The purpose of the story in the first place was to boast about an inhuman feat, and Beowulf is not about to brag about a little bit of paddling. Obviously, Beowulf is the main character, so he can take some liberties when talking about his accomplishments. But what about Breca? Well, I think it's safe to assume that this is just Beowulf being a great wingman to his pal.